Hello everyone, and welcome to Let's Play. Today we will be discussing Assassin's Creed and several different things involved in different games in the series. But first, we will give a short summary of the series. This of course means that there will be spoilers for the different games in Assassin's Creed. So in Assassin's Creed, the player controls an assassin in a specific time period that ranges from the Crusades to Victorian London. The narrative focuses on conflict between the Assassin Order and the Templar Order. The Assassins want people to have freedom and be able to make their own decisions. The Templars want to control people to have power. The player controls a modern-day protagonist named Desmond that goes into a device called the Animus. This device allows the user to experience the memories of their ancestors using their genetics. Here the player discovers that humanity has evolved from the first civilization. This civilization created the humans as slaves and created the pieces of Eden that control them. This civilization is, however, wiped out by a catastrophic event. With this extinction of the first civilization, the Assassin and Templar orders fight to gain control over the pieces of Eden. Now we will talk about the Animus. The Animus is the most important part in the series. It allows the player to not only control the ancestors of Desmond, but also frames the story for the player. The Animus controls the way the player behaves so that the player can behave like the assassin would be expected to. The Animus will penalize the player for killing civilians, killing domestic animals, or killing animals without using them. It also will desynchronize like this on occasion. Also, when a player dies during memory when the assassin is not supposed to die, the Animus restarts the memory because the assassin is not supposed to die. Because of the way the Animus controls the open world in the story, it allows the player to still be immersed in an open world game while obeying the developer's will. The remainder of this clip will demonstrate how the game penalizes the player for dying. Now let's talk about the historical accuracy of Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed has been open debate over if the events portrayed in the game are what transpired in real life. We here at Let's Play would like to say that 9% of the history in the Assassin's Creed franchise is historically accurate, and the other 10% represents how history is altered for the assassins portrayed in the different games. Historical figures portrayed in the game, such as Leonardo da Vinci. In the game Assassin's Creed 2, Da Vinci is portrayed as a buddy inventor of this assassin, Ezio Auditore da Firenze. This part of his character is inaccurate since Ezio never existed. It was made up by Ubisoft, the creator of Assassin's Creed, which is unfortunate because who would want an ancestor like Ezio? However, the different inventions that are tested out by Da Vinci and Ezio are true. In the game, he's shown to have designs for war machines like tanks or helicopters, a flying machine that resembles an airplane, calculators, cannons, and movable barricades. The game stays true to history because the majority of the designs that are tested end up failing in the end. The only exception is Da Vinci's flying machine, which fails less than the other inventions. It is tested by Ezio to see if he can fly to an almost impenetrable fortress. Other historical figures are also shown as more realistic than what many people are taught in their history classes. As seen here, this airplane is more of a rudimentary glider. It requires the use of the hot air from the fire in order for it to go across the cityscape. This glider is also incredibly hard to control. As you can see, the player is struggling in order to keep it in line with the different fires. Because of the heavy materials used, like the heavy fabric, this glider requires the use of the fires in order to fly across the cityscape. Back then, they would not have known to use lighter materials like aluminum or any lightweight fabric instead of the heavy fabric they are using. In Assassin's Creed 3, George Washington is shown as a real person that is not sure of himself. The game paints him as more realistic to show that even someone of great powers, like Washington, was also human too. The game expands on this by having Washington consult Connor, the Assassin's Creed 3, on many decisions in his career. While we know Connor is not a real person, it still shows the doubt Washington had and his reliance on aides to help make decisions. This makes Washington more realistic to the player. This clip shows George Washington and Connor talking about food shortages in Valley Forge. Even though we know this encounter is not real, it still shows how George Washington was a real person who had real doubts and needed help to solve some decisions. Now we would like to talk about historical events in Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed is known for exploring specific events in time in order to progress the story of the Assassins and Templars. With Assassin's Creed Black Flag and Assassin's Creed Unity, there are more detailed sketches and writings about the locations in the game, which allows the developers to be more accurate. In the latest installment, Assassin's Creed Syndicate, developers also have the advantage of photography in order to create Victorian London as accurately as possible. When the developers incorporate battles into the games, this creates a gray area. In these battles, the developers do not know what a specific soldier did or when they had died. This allows the developer to manipulate the historical accuracy while maintaining the narrative of the game. This allows the battle to have maximum accuracy while satisfying the narrative of the game. Now we would like to talk about cultural and social aspects present in the game. Assassin's Creed tries to achieve what the social order looked like at the time the games took place. In these games, the developers had to look at writings and other documents to recreate the social order. In Assassin's Creed 4, the idea of slavery is prevalent. Towards the beginning of the game, you experience life aboard a slaver ship. Also, your first mate is a slave that you freed. He is heavily looked down upon in society because of this. The social order is also seen with the attitude towards the pirates. The nobility and aristocracy of the different countries look down upon the pirates' safe haven and try to take it over multiple times. This shows nobility trying to maintain its power while dealing with the pirate succession. Developers turned more documents and stories to determine how people would have behaved in the game. To finish our video, we would like to also point out that Assassin's Creed does get some history wrong. For example, the Assassin and Templar orders are inaccurate because there's no evidence that the orders continue to exist outside the Crusades, which means the assassins that the player controls are not real. However, many of the assassins and Templars that are portrayed in the game that are not playable have been known to be real figures in history. Also, in many battles, certain details are skewed, like The way a battle progresses is not how it progressed in real life. This also goes along with the manipulation that Ubisoft does to make the story fit the narrative.